Yogaground. I would like to invite you, Maggie. Maggie will teach at Yogaground from April onwards. Of course, when the studio are opening.
Yes, really looking forward to it.
Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you.
Great you are here. We're going to do a flow, right?
Flow?
Yes.
45 minutes.
Do they need anything for preparation? Like, do they need a towel, blankets, or?
No, just yourselves. You don't even need a yoga mat necessarily, but you definitely need some space. So yeah, if you have your mat, roll it out. If not, find some space where you can really be aware of the front of the room, the back of the room, the top of the mat, the back of the mat, but no props
Okay,
needed.
cool. It's early morning, I know. We have this class also on our YouTube later today. So if you want to check in on YouTube, perfectly fine. And I would say, let's rumble.
Let's begin.
Let's start. Cool.
We are going to start lying down, but I'm not going to keep you too stagnant for too long. I don't want you falling asleep. So,
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and come to lie on your back, but we're going to bend the knees to begin. Usually this feels a little bit nicer on the low back. I'm going to invite you to heel toe your feet about mat width apart, more or less. And then you're going to knock your knees in towards one another. If you like to, you can place your hands on your belly. This is a nice way to tune into the body and tune into the breath. And then maybe you have the opportunity to close your eyes. Just taking a moment for yourself to arrive. It's important on this Monday morning that you really take the time to arrive not only in your body, not only in your breath, but in your mind as well. Sometimes it's nice to think of an intention or an affirmation or mantra, something to sort of guide you through your practice. And if nothing specific comes to mind, beginning your practice with simple gratitude is always a really nice way to begin. And then on your next breath, go ahead and release your arms out to your sides. Spin your hands, palms to face up. And then we're just going to start to gently rock the knees right to left. And just take it easy here to begin. Start to pay attention to the low back. And just rock your knees side to side, back and forth. And then go ahead and bring the knees back to center. You can heel toe your feet about hip distance apart. And then we're going to start to warm up through the legs. So when you're ready, take your right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Maybe the leg is bent. It's still early morning. You might be a little bit stiff. You can use the hands to support the leg, hold on to the belly of the thigh. Make sure your low back is pressing down, and as you create a little bit more space, maybe the right leg straightens. You can circle your ankle, point and flex your foot, wiggle your toes. And then just pause for a moment, deep breath down the back side of the leg, shoulders down away from your ears. And then take your right ankle over the left knee. You can gently press the right hand to help guide the hip open, no force. And then you're going to keep this position of the legs. You're going to extend the arms once again out by your sides, hand palms face up. And then you're going to collapse to the left side. Now maybe the right foot hovers above the ground, maybe it comes all the way down. And again, you're just paying close attention to the low back and the outer hip. Another deep breath here. And then slowly take your time coming back to center. Release your right leg, and if you want to pause for a moment to once again windshield wiper the knees, you can. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So extend your left leg up and grab hold of the back of the thigh. And then after a few moments, you start to breathe the left leg a little bit straighter. It does not have to come all the way straight. You can lead with the heel and then circle the ankle, point and flex your foot, wiggle your toes around. And just pause for a moment, press the heel up. Big breath down the left side of the leg, or the back of the left leg here. And then go ahead and take your left ankle over the right knee. Placing the hand as a reminder to keep the hip open. We stay in this position and we extend the arms out by the sides, hands, palms face up. And then you can collapse to the right side of the room. Just a couple breaths here. And then slowly find your way back to center. Again, as you release the left foot, feel free, windshield wiper the knees, side to side. And then bring the knees to center, root down through the feet, place your hands, this time palms face down. We're just gonna lift the hips to a low bridge pose. And as you start to lift the hips, you can shift the weight a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Find center and then lengthen through the low back. And pay close attention to the neck. Try to relax your face, especially your jaw. And then one more big breath in before slowly lowering all the way down. Gather your knees in towards your chest. Maybe you make a couple of circles here, a little massage to the low back sacrum. And then you can cross at your ankles. You can hold on back behind the thighs, and we're just gonna rock and roll up and down. So when this doesn't feel good, just roll to one side or the other and press yourself up. And then after 3, 4, 5 times, you can find your way up, and we'll come into tabletop facing the front of the room. So adjust your hands, adjust your knees, find that stability. Once again, breathe a little bit of length into your low back. Find a gentle pushing into the earth. And then from here, we're gonna take the shoulders into a couple of circles, maybe 2, 3 to the right. Circling the shoulders over the wrists. And then back the other way. And go ahead and shift your weight slightly forward. And then reach the hips back. 2 more times. Come forward, gentle stretch on the wrists. And then gentle stretch in the hips. 1 more time here, come forward. This time, come back and settle into a child's pose. The knees can be together or apart. I recommend you take a moment to rise high onto the fingertips, to cup the earth, to find a little bit of traction back through the hips as you melt the forehead down. So we're a little bit active here, continuing to awaken the body. Relax your face, drop your heavy head all the way down. And then we're gonna start to walk the hands to the right. And as you walk the hands to the right, maybe you reach a little bit further through the left arm. Big breath into the left side of the body here. Reach. And then slowly come back through center and up and over to the left side. Maybe you reach a little further through the right. One more big breath here, breathing into the right side of your body. Reach. And come back to center. Rise up, tabletop pose. Pause for a moment. And then we're going to keep the hips right where they are. Hips are going to stay stacked over the knees, but you're going to walk your hands forward to the front of the room. Maybe to the top of the mat, maybe beyond. And you're going to start to lower down through the chest. So you want to take it super easy here as you open up through the heart. Maybe the heart stays hovering above the ground. Maybe it touches all the way down. Big stretch for the upper back, the shoulders, the throat. And then on your next inhale, slowly slide forward and down onto your forearms. We're going to arrive in Sphinx. So I always like to take a moment to release the low back, little wiggle of the hips, adjust your hands. You want to root down through the hands, palms, elbows right under the shoulders. And then again, you want to find some length, a lift. Expand through the heart, take your gaze forward, but slightly down. Start to ignite through the legs, press down through the tops of the feet, and maybe you can get your kneecaps to even lift up off the ground. So in today's practice, we are going to explore the contrast between opposites. That duality, because there's always both. There's the push, there's the pull. There's the light, there's the dark. There's the strength, there's the surrender. Specifically in today, we're going to work through open and closed positions. So with your next exhale, slowly lower down. Take your hands a little bit wider than the shoulders. Again, you can rise high in the fingertips and then inhale, open up through the heart. Rise up through a variation of cobra. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up. Maybe this time you take your gaze over the right shoulder. And then exhale back through center, release. One more time here, rise up. Maybe you look over the left. And come all the way down. Hands back under the shoulders. Press yourself up and back. Just a moment to pause in child's once again. Let your heavy head go. Inhale, rise up through tabletop. And we come into downward facing dog. So especially on a Monday morning, take your time here in down dog. So pedal it out. Just walk in place. Lift and lower your heels. Lots of pops, lots of clicks. So warm up the body here. I often like to twist and turn my dog. So that means you lift your heels. You take your heels to the right, your knees to the left, you bend and you reach your hips up and back. Again, you access the side body here, feels so good. And then come back to center and switch, lift your heels to the left, knees to the right, bend the knees, reach the hips up and back. And then find your way to center. Just a moment to arrive, to root down through the hands, to breathe your heels in the direction of the earth. And then slowly take your right leg up and back, just like we did on our backs. Pause for a moment, circle your ankle, point and flex your foot, wiggle your toes around, and then take one more inhale. And then exhale, we'll walk or step the foot forward, finding lunge. Maybe you come high on the fingertips. Give yourself a little bit of length and space to breathe the heart forward. And then as you exhale, drop your left knee down. Now you want to be forward off the kneecap. So if you're not, go ahead and re-lift the knee, press back through the heel, settle in and down, and then uncurl your toes. Now we're going to take a big breath in here, look forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to walk your hands back and straighten your right leg. And then movement creates space here, so come forward back to your lunge. And then exhale, walk back, Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. So inhale, come forward. And exhale, come back. One more time, come forward. And then walk it back and just pause for a moment. So maybe the leg is working towards straight. Maybe you're staying high. Maybe you even have to place the hands onto the thigh. Not a whole lot of pressure, just to help you find balance. And if you live in a more flexible body, maybe you start to melt in and down over the right leg. And then slowly release. As you come forward, rebend your right knee. Curl your back toes in and under. Now on your next inhale, reach your arms up. And then on your exhale, you're going to take your arms back and you're going to lift your back knee. Squeeze the hips together. We'll repeat this movement. Inhale, come down, look up. Exhale, taking it into rocket lunge. One more. Inhale, rise. And exhale, reach. Placing your hands down and then stepping yourself back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and paddle it out for a moment. Lift and lower your heels. Twist and turn your dog. And then we'll move to the left side. So inhale, take your left leg up. Pause for a moment, awaken the foot. Stay really rooted through the hands. And then one more inhale, maybe the leg comes up a little higher. And exhale, we arrive in lunge. You can come high on the fingers. As you drop your back knee in and down, uncurl the toes, find a little bit of space here. Then with your next exhale, moving back into Ardha Hanumanasana, and then inhale back into your lunge. So depending on the space that you have, maybe the hands stay where they are. And when you live in a little bit more tight body, the hands can sort of follow and support you as you move in and out. So let's take one more round back and forth. And then just a moment to pause here. So really starting to traction that left hip back. Flex your toes. Maybe you're bowing in and down. And then when you're ready, slowly rise up. Bending the left knee, curl your back toes in and under. Inhale, reach your arms up. Then as you exhale, navel in towards your spine. Hug your hips together. Lift that back knee. Rocket lunge. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale, launch forward. One more time, big breath in. And a big breath out. Dropping the hands. Stepping yourself back to downward facing dog. And then again, you can pedal it out. You can walk in place. From downward facing dog, we're gonna find our way to plank. And as you draw those shoulders over the wrists, lengthen through your spine. Stay connected to your center, so we always move with integrity, never too quick. Really ignite every muscle, find that push, find that pull, and then drop your knees. Move your hips back, stretch, and then come all the way forward and down, back onto the belly. You can widen the hands if you like. Little variation here as you uncurl the toes, lift the heart, and release it. Press yourself up and back, and we'll return to downward facing dog. All right. So arriving right in stillness here, taking a deep breath in, maybe out through the mouth. And then we're gonna send the right leg up and back. On your exhale, you're gonna take the foot forward for lunge. Right away, you drop the back knee down, and you inhale, reach the arms up. On your exhale, back to that rocket lunge. Curl your back toes in and under, reach. From rocket lunge, you're gonna find your way into warrior two. So spinning the back heel in and down. Take a moment to arrive. Feel the earth. Explore that duality of opening up the hips. Reach forward, reach back. Bring your hands to heart. We're gonna switch the legs. You're gonna bend your left knee. You're gonna straighten your right leg. You're gonna send your hips back for Skandasana. Feel the hips drawing together, the sits bones sort of hugging in. Breathe into the groin, the innermost hamstring. And then we're gonna move to the back of the mat for lunge. Your hands can come down, left toes point to the back heel can lift. Now we're gonna bear the weight in the right hand, fingers or full palm, and you're gonna reach your left arm up. We'll revolve here, closing the hips, reaching through the shoulders. Then you're gonna take your left hand down. You're gonna move the hips up and back for pyramid pose. Now the back heel can ground down or it can stay lifted. Breathe length into the spine. So maybe you take your gaze slightly forward. One more inhale here. And then a softening to the left knee, little bend. You're gonna take your left fingers forward in front of the foot. And you're going to start to explore finding balance. Maybe the right foot comes up just a little bit. Maybe it starts to come up a little bit more. You can start to explore half moon. Opening the hips, opening the heart. Keep your gaze down for balance and then release. Start to close the hips. Tuck your right knee back behind the left. Shiva squat. And then you're gonna start to rise. And as you rise, you're gonna bring your right knee with you. Maybe you take your arms straight up towards the ceiling. Pause for a moment, find your balance, and then bring your hands together in front of your heart. Standing pigeon pose. Opening up once again through that right hip, you sit down, you sit back. And then you can bring your right hand onto the knee. You're gonna rise up again, find balance with an open hip. You can reach your left arm out to the side. Pause for a moment. And then a big circle of the hip back. Reach your arms forward. Warrior three. Pause for a moment, lengthen the spine. And then we take the hands down, light landing here. Back into lunge, drop your right knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. We're back to where we began. Use your exhale, find a rocket lunge. Squeeze the hips. Slowly start to find your way up and come into warrior two. Back heel spins in and down. Breathe the hips open, reach. From warrior two, hands come to heart. You start to straighten the left leg. You sit down and back, so it's always that balance, that space in between the two. You're coming forward, but you're reaching back. The hips are opening, but you're hugging them together. Explore that duality, that contrast as you close the hips and you come to the front of the mat once again. So here we are, facing the front, weight in the left hand, reach your right arm up. Revolve, twist, reach. Then take your right hand down, straighten both your legs, pyramid pose. Soft melting over the front leg. And then you take a little bend to the right knee. This will help you find balance, bringing the right hand to the earth, sort of in front of the foot. And then you can start to play with taking the left foot up off the ground. Maybe your right knee stays bent. Maybe you're just working here. You can start to explore, find balance, and work into half moon. And then we close the hips. The left fingers come down, the left knee behind the right. Shiva squat, hug it in. And then we rise slow and steady. So hands can come to heart. The left knee comes with you. Then you reach up, grow tall. Hands to heart, standing pigeon. So open up through the hip. Sit down and back. And then as we rise, open hips, standing balancing pose. Left hand can come to the shin or the knee. As you rise, take a moment to pause. You circle the hip back around and find warrior three. Hands come down, left foot steps back, and you're back in lunge. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, rocket launch forward. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, skandasana. Moving to the back of the mat. Right hand down, left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, left hand down, hips move up and back. Pyramid pose. Shift the weight forward, soft bend to the left knee. Half moon. Find balance. Release your right hand down, tuck the knees together, squeeze in, exhale. And then inhale, start to rise. Bring the right knee with you. Reach. Exhale, hands to heart, standing pigeon. And then bringing yourself back up into standing balance. Open the hip. And then we circle the hip back and around. Warrior three. Reach. Woo. Hands come down. Right foot steps back. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, rocket. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, skandasana. To the top of the mat. reach, revolve, and twist. And then take your right hand down, hips up and back, pyramid pose. Soft bending to the right knee to give yourself some leverage to launch forward. To slowly rise up, find balance in half moon. And then release, close those hips. So explore that contrast between the two. When you move mindfully, you stay connected to the breath. You can start to tap into that moving meditation. Hands to heart, standing pigeon. From standing pigeon, grabbing hold of the knee or the shin and opening. Circling the hip back and around, warrior three. Hands down, step it back, back in your lunge. So inhale here, we're gonna start to explore a couple of variations. You do not have to take them, just an opportunity for you to play. Come to warrior two, Skandasana, to the back of the mat for your revolved lunge. Now from here, you can start to open up into a variation of side plank. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you take your left foot and you stack it on top of the right. Maybe in your variation of side plank, you float the left foot up. One more breath wherever you are. And then again, we're going to step the left foot forward. When you arrive back in your lunge, we open up towards the right for our half moon. If you want to play and catch the foot, maybe you do, maybe you don't. We start to close the hips, hug the right knee behind the left, squeeze it in. And then with your next inhale, we rise. Reach, grow tall, and then standing pigeon. From standing pigeon, so many ways to explore. Maybe the elbows come onto the lower leg. Maybe you just stay right here, finding your balance, working deeper into the pose. Maybe your hands come down. When your hands come down, you can bring the shin onto the upper arms and tilt the weight of your body forward. Maybe you just explore that transition. Maybe you feel like being a brave soul here Monday morning and taking your left foot up off the earth. Either way, slowly come back, hands to heart. Maybe this time you use your right hand to catch the sole of the foot. And as you rise to that open hip position, you start to really explore more space. Release, circle the hip back around. Warrior three, reach. And land lightly back to our lunge. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, squeeze from your center, rocket lunge. Reach. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Moving back to Skandasana. To the top of the mat, revolve your lunge and reach. Here's your opportunity to play. You can start to explore variations of side plank. You can always come into modified side plank, dropping your left knee down. Maybe you're stacking the feet. Maybe you're staggering the feet. One more big breath. And then right foot steps forward. When you arrive, we find our way to half moon. Your own variation here. Maybe you're bending the knee. Maybe you're catching the foot. The beauty of the practice is that usually one side feels a little different than the other. Release it, close the hips. Hug the left knee back behind the right. Start to rise nice and easy. Bring the left knee with you. Reach, reach, reach. And then standing pigeon pose. So, in your own way, you start to explore deepening it. Maybe that means just sitting back a little further. Maybe that means taking the hands to the earth. Maybe that means bowing the forehead in towards the shin. Maybe you're taking flight, finding an arm balance. One more breath wherever you are. And then slow and steady here, finding your way out. Rise up. Maybe the left hand comes to the sole of the foot. And then from here, you can open up through the hip, rise, find balance. And then we circle the hip back and around. Warrior 3. Bringing the hands down, returning to lunge, and finding our way back to downward facing dog. So deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And then you can lift your heels high, drop your knees down, and return for a moment into child's pose. Maybe this time you take your arms and you reach them back behind you. You can spin your hands, palms to face up. Either way, you want the weight of your head to be supported either by the ground, and if it's not, you just take your hands and place them underneath. Maybe it's the hands, maybe it's fists. So really allow yourself to just melt into this moment. We've cultivated lots of strength here. Now we're sort of giving into the surrender. Take one or two more breaths. And then slowly begin to rise up and out. You can walk your hands back towards your knees. Bring your hands up onto your thighs. And then we'll lift the hips, curl the toes in and under. So this used to be one of my least favorite poses. Might still be your least favorite. But they say in Chinese medicine that this is a great way to boost your immune system. Hey, I think we can all take that right about now. So curl your toes in and under, deep toe stretch. Make sure all 10 toes are curled in. Know that you can sort of cheat by sending the weight more forward, meaning that you can intensify by sending the weight back. Bring the hands together at heart center. And then big breath in to reach your arms out and up. And exhale, right arm under the left. So eagle wrap those arms, send your fingers high to the ceiling, and then hug those elbows in and down, and then see if you can spread your shoulder blades away from one another. And then release your arms, reach up, and switch left arm under the right. And then first, reach your fingers high. And then exhale, hug the elbows in and down. Spread the shoulders away from one another. And release, big breath in. Free those toes. Find your way one last time here to downward facing dog. Press your heels into the earth. Maybe you take your gaze right to left. And then a soft bend to the knees, look forward. You can walk, step, or hop, and just cross your feet. And come to sit, and bring the soles of your feet together. So soles of the feet together to open up deeply through the hips, sit up nice and tall. And then using the hands onto the ankles, peace fingers around the big toes, or hands onto the knees, you're gonna pull yourself forward. Now, surprisingly, after all these years of yoga, I have really tight hips. I don't have much of an external hip rotation here. So I want to sit up nice and tall to lengthen through the low back and sacrum to sort of hinge forward until I meet what I call sticky resistance. You find that sticky resistance and you stay there. One more breath. And then on your exhale, surrender forward and down. Just release it, melt. Maybe you open the hands. One more breath here. Just letting all of that go. And then slowly rise up. You're going to use your hands together, the knees together. You're going to hinge back and find that point of balance. So there's a little triangle back there between the sits bones and the tailbone. So once you rock back and forth a couple of times and you find it, you're going to just hold. So maybe the feet are just hovering above the ground. Maybe you flex the feet and bring the shins parallel. Either way, hug everything in towards center until you start to almost vibrate. Maybe the legs stay bent, maybe you straighten the legs out. Either way, we hold here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Give yourself a nice big hug, round in. And then we're going to roll ourselves down onto our backs. So you can center yourself on your mat. I'll spin around once again. Roll down onto your back, hug those knees in, maybe a circle or two each direction. One last strength building pose we're going to come into before final rest. This pose is called resist and hold. You're going to bring the knees over the hips just like we did in tabletop. You're going to bring the shins more or less parallel. And you're going to flex your feet. Now you're going to maintain this position. You're going to bring your hands onto the thighs. And what you want to try to do is push the legs away. But you're going to resist and hold. What you're going to try to do is draw the knees in towards the chest, but you're going to resist and hold. The most important thing is that your low back is not arching, but your low back is lengthening. The moment you gently press the low back down, it connects, you feel your core engage. Yeah? So you place the hands onto the thighs, you set everything up, you take a deep breath in, and you push, you pull, you resist, and you hold. When you do this right, you start to vibrate. You start to shake, and we hold for 10, for 9, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Hug it in, place the feet down. Windshield wiper those knees. And then nice and easy here, extend one leg, then the other. Feet about hip distance apart, maybe mat width apart. Rock your toes in and out, in and out. And then allow the feet to splay open. Hands can be out by your sides. Eyes can soften and close. Just as we began, feeling the earth, that support beneath you, giving into that gentle gravitational pull. Exploring that duality, that space in between. Remaining here for final rest, relaxing your entire body. As you lie here and rest, just remember that the practice of yoga is all about being present, present in the moment, being here now. With this presence, paying attention. So you pay attention to your body, pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to your thoughts. You continue to be in the moment and be in the practice. So you are more than welcome to stay here as long as you want or need. Maybe that's just a few more minutes. Maybe it's another 10 or 15. I thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice this morning. The beauty of this practice is that you can sort of take that base flow and move through it again and again and again. So I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have the opportunity to go outside and enjoy the sunshine, please do. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Namaste.
Thank you, Maggie.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for this class. Yeah. Everyone there on their mat, please stay in Shavasana. Thank you for joining. Thank you for practicing with us. Check our agenda on Instagram. We have those sessions twice a day. So keep on rolling out those mats, guys, for us, for yourself. And let's see each other very, very soon, hopefully.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.